H2K Infosys provides world-class online IT training, staffing, and software testing solutions to customers worldwide. H2K Infosys, how we are different from our competitors. 100% job-oriented training, hands-on project work, cloud test lab, resume preparation and review, mock interviews, robust syllabus, one-time fee and lifetime access to classes, access to recorded sessions of live classes. H2K Infosys has won the trust of thousands of students worldwide. For a free demo class, visit us at h2kinfosys.com.
So if you see in your Java program, when you say calculate something, you are getting an output from a particular program or a return type from a particular program. Okay, the same thing out here. This is kind of an output which you're going to get from the procedure. Okay. All right. So in order to execute this, again the same thing. You just say con.create statement. You get this statement here, and you just say execute update. Okay. So if I run this application, right click, run as Java application. So the procedure got created, did not put any output here. So if I just right click, every procedure, if you just use a SQL developer, if you create a procedure, it basically goes and resides in the procedure package here. Okay, so refresh this. So one procedure got created, that is your show employee. Okay, so this is my procedure. It says create or replace employee procedure, create or replace procedure names, show employee. Okay, and this is my in parameter, this is my out parameter. Alright, so this is how you basically create a procedure. So let us go ahead and invoke the procedure and see what is the outcome of invoking a procedure. Alright, so okay, let's go back and let me just uncomment this one. So already I have created a procedure. Even though there is an existing procedure also, you can very well call those procedures. Okay. Now there are a couple of other existing procedures like add job history, get EMP data, and secure DML and stuff and all. We can even execute those procedures by invoking those things. Okay. Now how to invoke your procedure? In order to work along with the procedure, you have to basically need a callable statement. So we spoke about statement, we spoke about prepare statement. Now we are going to talk about your callable statement. So with the help of my callable statement, I will be able to invoke a particular procedure. Okay, so let us do that now. So call procedure. So again the same thing, you need to have a connection. From the connection you need to say prepare call. Okay, so in your previous statement you just need to say con.prepare statement, and from the prepare statement you used to get the APIs. Okay, so you have to say execute, or you have to say prepare statement and stuff. Okay, so in this case you have to say prepare call. So when you say prepare call, you have to put something in your curly braces. Okay, you have to use a curly braces. From your curly braces you have to say call. So this is a standard. You have to say call and show employee, and in that you are giving two placeholders or two question mark. That means if you go and look into your procedure here, you are having two arguments to it. Okay, one is your in out, one is your in, one is your out, and even you have the other as in and out also. Okay, so once you, again as I said, if you learn your Oracle and procedure stuff, so you should basically understand what is the procedure and what are the different arguments we can pass on to the procedure. Okay, now we have two placeholders, so for that reason I'm just using two question marks. For that reason I have to basically pass two informations to it. Okay, now the first information is basically going to be my input. Okay, so here I'm just saying show employee of which particular employee of employee ID 100. This I can even pass it dynamically, but I'm just for the sake of giving you an example, I just hard coded this value here. Otherwise you can very well pass it out from here itself. Okay, now the second one is if you remember calculation. Now when you say calculation, when you say add value, you have two inputs and you have got one output, right? So because that's what you have it as a return type. So that's what you do, you say return a plus b. The same thing out here. In order to get an output from a procedure, okay, so in order to get an output from a procedure, you have to basically register the output. Okay, that means you are saying that The second argument which I'm going to get, sorry, this is not an argument. The second value which I'm going to get is basically an output. The first one is an input, second one is an output for me. So I need to say cs.register output parameter. So this is my type as varchar, because I know that I am going to get a employee name whenever I pass the value as 100, okay, or any kind of employee ID. Okay, so I just say cs.execute query once I prepare all these things. These are all standards. Okay, you don't have to it is nothing, no logic out here. It's something you have to execute this. Sorry, you have to create this. Okay, and you have to set the input and output parameters. So whenever there is an output parameter, you are supposed to say out parameters out here. Okay, and cs.execute query. So the moment you say cs.execute query, you basically, this particular procedure is going to get executed, and the value what you're going to get it is here as an output in your register output parameter. So the same thing, you just say cs.get string of 2, the index 2. Okay, you get the employee name here. So if I run this application right now, let's see what's going to happen. Right click, run as Java application. So I got a value as Steven, because I know the employee ID for the employee ID 100, the value was Steven. Now if you just closely look into this, if it says create or replace procedure name, no doubt, as begin, select employee.first name into employee name. Now what is your employee name? Employee name is nothing but your out parameter. What it is happening, it is going and querying the database, and the first name which you are going to get is going to push it to your employee name, and this is my output basically to the procedure. Okay, from which table? From employee emp, where employee.employee ID equals to EID. Now what is my EID? EID is nothing but my input out here.
Jairam, I have a question. Is it possible for you to anyway like expand your view to a higher resolution, like 100% or something? Because the words are so tiny, it's barely I can barely.
Oh, these things.
Yeah, is it possible? Because on a recorded session, I mean on a web view,
okay,
it makes it very difficult.
Okay, for now, let me just copy this and paste it in the notepad. Okay, so this is your create or replace procedure name, show employees, and this is the input, and this is my output. Okay, now if you see, I say select employee.first name from which table? From my employee table, from employee table, and the first name which I'm going to get is I'm actually pushing it into employee name. The employee name is nothing but your output parameter. Okay, so that is what you basically register from your Java application. Now if you just change it to 200, I should get some other result. Run as Java application. Okay, you basically get it as Jennifer. So this procedure is basically which is already present in your database. This gets invoked. Okay, now it is very much similar when you say in your application you say calculation.add value. You invoke this particular function. Okay, the same thing, you are invoking a particular procedure out here. All right. Okay, what next? Okay, so even you can
Jairam,
yeah.
Sorry, one quick question. Can we have output parameters in Java functions?
Java functions?
Yeah, we cannot have output parameters, right?
No, we do not. There is a trick actually. You can manipulate things. Probably I can show you in the next sessions, because in Java you basically pass an object, right? So you can basically manipulate that object, and you can see that. Okay.
Oh, got you.
Yeah, I can even show you that. Otherwise, you can just create a method. Okay, create an something like, for example, public void my details. Okay, in that try to pass a person per. Okay, and what you do for from your, let's say I'm just trying to call it from here, you just say my details, and let's say you have already created a person per s1 person per equals to new person. Okay, with some details, let's say your SSN, your name. So what you do, you just pass this person out here, and coming out here, just say PER. Now let's say the name is Jairam. Okay. Come here and change the name PER.name equals to let's say Jairam Raut. Okay, and then come to the same function out here. Okay, now this is one. First I created an object, and then next I pass this object to a method, and after that I just, when I say system out SOP, and if I say PER dot name, I will get Jairam Raut here. That means you're passing in an object out here, and that particular object you're changing the value, and again when you print this out here, you are going to get a different value. You are going to get it as Jairam Raut. Okay, there is a trick out here. You can even do that, but yeah, you can do that. So there is no way you cannot do it in Java. All right, you got it right. What I said here.
So for the person,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but for the person object, that input parameter, can you within that procedure, can you say within that method, can you say person equal to creating another object, assigning another person object over there?
You can
do
you yes.
But that doesn't reflect in the main.
You can very well do that. I mean, no one is stopping you. You can refer this because this is just a reference to a particular object, right? This is just a reference. Now, this reference you can refer it to a new person, let's say Madhu. Okay, you can even do that. You can still change the complete reference of a particular person reference here.
But that reflects in the back in the calling procedure too.
No, you're talking about procedure, or you're talking about Java here.
In Java here, yeah.
Yeah, in Java, yes, it reflects basically. Okay.
Oh, okay. So it's passed by reference. It's not passed by value.
No, in Java it is basically always passed by value itself. But Java is not passed by reference. You're passing the reference, but what is reference? Reference is also a memory address, right? So it is actually a value itself. Okay.
Right. Within that my details function, if you say per equal to new person, use something else.
Yeah, equals to new person. So yes, you are basically changing the reference or the memory address to which this particular reference is referring it to. Now, if it is referring it to X location, now it is going to refer to the Y location.
So if it goes back in the calling function in the system sysout, per dot name will be different.
Will be different.
And even if you say per dot toString is also will be different.
It will be different. Yes.
I see.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So these are a few tricks. Okay. I mean, it all depends on your functionality. What functionality you want to use. You basically you will not do it. But again, if your application is demanding that, then you have to do that. Okay. All right. So insert row in database and rollback. I'll just take up a few more minutes, folks. Okay. So here you just say, okay, when you talk about your connection, you have an option saying that set auto commit false also, auto commit as false also. So these all goes to your transaction. Okay. Now here, what I'm trying to do is I'm just saying, let's say the table which I created. Okay, so here I'm just saying insert into H2K table values so and so. Okay, so I just try to insert something. Okay, so dynamically I'm going to give some values here. So I believe I'm passing in some values. I'm just giving a value as 28 and 28. Okay, so that is what I want to insert into my H2K table. So I can very well insert it from here. But the time I insert, I can just say execute update. If suppose something goes wrong, I can basically say connection.rollback also. Okay, so as of now, let us just execute this program without any flaws. So it says execute update, and I just say invoke this, and I just say return value from insert some value. Okay, let me even okay, take this, but as of now, let me copy this and put it in a systrace, and then just add this values up here, because again I have to open the logger. Now, okay, I just want to say you one thing. I have executed a lot of programs, and all the programs are actually pushing all the outputs to the logger file. Okay, now if you see here in yesterday's class we spoke about JDBC issue.log. Now a new log has been created, that is again JDBC issue.log, and the previous log file has given a name as 22. Okay, 2014-522. So you don't have to change it. I mean, these are all previous days logs. Okay, so every time let's say tomorrow again you run your application, a new log file gets created. Okay, so just wanted to say you that. Alright, so what next? Okay, let me execute this. So just as insert statement here, and I'm passing a couple of parameters to the statement here with 2 question marks. I just want to say what all things I would insert here. So I gave as 28 and 28 from this method itself. Right click, run as Java application. Okay, so return value equals from insert equals to 1 because 1 row got inserted to the database, so it is returning me as 1 here. Okay, so if I just go back and see this data, I see 28 and 28. Sorry guys, it's too small. I don't know how to change this. Fine, not sure. Okay, so if I just say select star from can I do like this? One sec folks, I have to figure this out. Okay, all right. So select star from what is this? H2K table. H2K table. Okay. Now if you see select star from H2K table, I got it as 28 and 28. That's what I added to the database. Okay. Now by some means, let's say I'm doing some database operation right now. This is whenever you say con.prepare statement, or whenever you do any kind of execution, you basically say you're doing some kind of your database operations. Okay. Controls creation of new file. Yeah, there's a question: which parameter controls the creation of a new file? Your logger. We are using a logger framework. Logger framework by itself is going to create your new files. Okay, so that it is been handled by the framework itself. Alright, so here my main objective is to show you what if anything goes wrong. Now, if you remember in our previous applications, in previous sessions, we have spoken something about arithmetic exception, right? So whenever you divide anything divided by 0, it is basically an arithmetic exception. So here let us add 27. Okay, so 27 and 27. Okay, I'm adding 27 right now, and what am I doing is I just said execute update. After doing an execute update, I am going to manually add some bugs to my program during runtime. So what happens? This will never get committed. Ultimately, it is going to come to the catch block. In the catch block, I have got something like connection.rollback. Okay, so this, with the help of this, I'm basically controlling the transaction. So when you say transaction, it is something like whenever you take out money from your ATM, then only the your money gets subtracted, right, from your account. Even anything goes wrong, it doesn't get subtracted. So the same thing, if I have any flaws in my flow, I come back and do a rollback here. Okay, so if I right click, run as Java application, so something went wrong. So if I just go and query the database right now, okay, I should still see 28, the existing value which I have it. I will not see as 27 at all. Okay, so for that reason, you just say rollback here. Okay, so with this these methods, rollback and commit, you can basically control the transaction. All right, so in real-time application also you do the same, but as in real time these days everybody are using some kind of ORM tools, you will not go and do that. Okay, okay, where is that? Alright, so there are a couple of other APIs. So with the help of that, you can basically do a save point. Let's say Control V. Okay, so here what am I trying to do here is in database concept there is a save point. Basically you add a save point after each and every execution. You can even add a save point out here. So save point is something like okay, you want to do an insert, you want to do an insert first, okay, and then you execute that query, and after that you add a save point to it. So before even that I have added a save point, and I execute some query, and I executed that. I created one more save point, I executed one more query out here, right? So if anything goes wrong, I want to basically roll back a save point. If I say roll back here, so let us just execute this program for now and see that. So here at this point of time I've got two values, 106 and 107. The name is Rita 6 and Rita 7. Okay, so everything goes fine. I just execute this program. So right click, run as Java application. So everything went fine for sure. Let me go and just execute this particular table. So I see 106 and 107. Okay, but let us put some bugs in our code. Okay, so right now I'm just going to make this as 102 and 103. So I can even have two queries at the same time. So this is your 2 and this is your 3. So what I'm saying is create a save point if anything goes wrong. So I'm just manually adding some bugs to it. If anything goes wrong, you go and roll back your save point too. That means do not okay, first we'll do one thing. We will not put any save points here. Okay, and we will just say roll back. That's all. Okay, we'll just do a rollback out here. We'll not do rollback. We'll not say any save point. So let us see this first, and then we'll talk about the other things. So when I say rollback, I know that 102 or 103 will not get inserted to the database. Run as Java application. So some error went in and it says rolling back, right? So something went wrong. Okay, so you can see those information in your loggers. Okay, now let us go back and see the database. Whether you have 103 and 104, it is not there. Okay, now what am I going to do is I don't want to, whenever there is an issue, I want to basically roll back to a particular save point. Okay, so for that reason, let me have this invoked and this commented out. Now let us run the same application again. So when I run this application, this gets inserted, this gets executed, and this gets executed, this gets inserted, but I do a rollback on save point 2. So that means this insertion will not happen basically. Okay, so right click, run as Java application. There was some error for sure. Let us go back to the database and select start from. Okay, now if you see 102 got inserted, but 103 got rolled back. Why? Because I have done a rollback on a save point 2, not save point 1. I can even do the same thing. So save point is nothing but if you know you have done some important transaction here, but you don't want to roll back those transactions. You want to roll back from a particular point. So I want to roll back from this point. Okay, so I think for the database folks, it is pretty much easy for them to understand.
Jairam,
yeah.
One quick question. On save point 1, you didn't issue any commit.
Yeah, that's what. So here we have auto. Whenever the execution happens.
Oh, you said auto commit. I see.
Okay.
I see.
No, I mean, even though once your execution happens, when you do a rollback on a particular statement, so that means you are rolling back that particular statement. Okay, and then you commit happens automatically.
Right.
Okay. Now, even you have an option to add a batch also. So what is add batch here? So suppose you have multiple statements. The way if you see in our previous application, we have given SQL and we have given SQL 2 times, right? So we have told execute update and execute update 2 times. But when you say execute update 2 times, what happens basically is the execution and it gets triggered 2 times. Okay, so there is basically a network hit 2 times. Okay, now we are going to basically stop that and we are going to use a batch operation there. So when you talk about batch operation, you create all your queries at one time. Okay, create all your queries and then in a single shot itself execute all the queries. So how do you do that? You create a query 1, add it to the batch, okay, from the statement.add batch. You create one more query, add batch, add it to the batch. It is something like adding it to the collection and say add batch. Okay, so I added 3 queries to, let's say this is your 102. Right. So I added 3 statements in one batch, and at last I'm going to say statement.execute batch. Okay, so when I say statement.execute batch, all the three things are going to execute it at one time in the database itself. So if I run this, okay, so how many queries got executed? You're going to get the count out here. If you go to the database, okay, so you had 102 as Rita, now it is Raja, and other things got added to the database. Okay, so you inserted 2 tables, 2 rows, and apart from that, you just updated something out here. Okay. Any questions, folks? These are all, I mean, yeah, go ahead.
Jairam, when you execute these separate SQL statements on the database side, if you were to see, will they be executed all at once or one after the other? Like, what I mean is, like, would that be part of the same program? The first SQL statement gets executed and then the results displayed, or all 3 get executed first and then the results displayed?
All the 3 are executed and then the results are displayed. Okay, it gets executed in the database itself. See, nothing, these all statements are not been executed in your Java application. You're just using some APIs to execute that. But ultimately, these all statement goes to the database, and from your database itself, these statements gets executed. Okay, because these are all SQL statements or SQL queries. Okay, so you are just a driver. Okay, you're just a message holder, or just a guy who is actually passing this information to the database. So it is the database responsibility to execute all the programs out there and give you the result back. Okay.
So how does it commit? Like you have the set auto commit equal to false. Where have you defined the commit statement here?
Yeah. So when you say auto commit false, and when your execution happens automatically, it commits the statement. Okay. See, if you know your SQL, and in your SQL also you can say auto commit as false, or in your Oracle database you see auto commit as false. But if you remember, if you do any kind of your DDL statements next to next, okay, so if suppose you say select star from employees, sorry, if you want to insert something and you want to roll back, you can even do a rollback also, right? But if after you have an option in your SQL that when you say auto commit as false, it doesn't basically auto commit. But in the meantime, if you do any of your DML commands, it basically auto commits your statement. Okay, the same thing goes here. If you want, you can even say auto commit as false, but after your execution finish, if you do not do anything, it basically commits your statement. Okay.
These statements are not committed yet. That's what you're saying.
These are committed, right? These are all committed. If anything, see, when you open a connection, you close the connection. In between, anything goes wrong, you are basically rolling it back. Okay. So if you know that once you commit a statement, you can roll it back. The same thing goes for your SQL statements also. Correct? So if you suppose, if I insert into so and so, copy this and paste it out here. Okay. So if I say 110, okay. Now one row got inserted, correct? It says one row got inserted. If I say roll back here, rollback completed, right? So if I say select star from H2K table, you do not see the information about 1110, correct? So the same thing happens here. If suppose you do any insertion, okay, and you have one more some DML statements and stuff, automatically it commits the statement. Why you use add batch? Can we not execute it in a more direct fashion? You can execute in a more direct fashion, Adil, but you have to execute all these statements one by one. So it's an extra headache. Now what you do is you put everything in a collection in an add batch, and at the same time you just go and talk to the database and execute all the statement in your database itself. Okay. Yeah. So coming on to the auto commit functionality here, if
Jerome, if
yeah.
You can go ahead and finish.
Okay, so when you talk about your auto commit functionality out here, I'm just saying you have an option here. That means you do not commit it. If anything goes wrong, you can even roll back, or you can do even though if you do not add a commit. Okay, so at the end of the session, it basically commits it. Okay, but usually when everything goes fine, you basically say connection dot commit. Yeah, go ahead, Saroja.
Jerome, the return type of the method execute batch is what?
The number of
it's an integer.
No, yeah, it is an integer. Okay.
Integer, and it is like a standard thing that it will be in the form of an array.
It is in the form of an array.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, folks. So I'm going to check in this file, and I hope you guys create your own statements and execute all the APIs. Okay, and there are a lot of other APIs. You can even create your own, and but these are the basic things which is very important to understand. Okay, and yeah, so I'm going to check in this, and folks, any questions?
Yeah, Jerome, with Hibernate's. Yeah, please go ahead. I'll let her.
Yep, ladies first. Go ahead.
Okay, Jerome, I have seen Java DB. Is that a good idea to use that, which says it has the integrated, embedded SQL that you can use for Java? Will that help instead of going for personal Oracle and installing all that?
You can use. I have not used Java DB, but you can very well go and use that. Okay, there are a lot of databases. I've used MySQL, I've used DB2, I've used Oracle as well. So you're free to use anything, but it's all the same. Okay, so you just need to have some drivers, you need to have some connection URL. So those things you have to search it in the internet and find out what all things you need to use it. Okay, and the queries, if you want, I'm not sure about the Java DB queries. So for Oracle you have this, something like this. For DB2 also you have something like this, but I'm really not sure about your Java DB. Okay, so those things you can even find out, and you can put
yeah, because in my company they are asking some of the Java folks to use Java DB.
Okay.
So do you think the companies are introducing this?
Java DB is actually a DB which is given by the Java folks itself. It's an in-memory database, I believe, right? So it is an in-memory database, right?
Yes, it has its own, you can directly do the embedded, but I'm thinking, is that like because Oracle also, part of it is Oracle, of course, is developing that.
Java
the
DB,
SQL is same?
Yes, SQL, I'm pretty much not sure. I'm sorry for that, but I can get you those information because I've not worked on that. Okay. But it should be pretty much same. Okay, no other differences should be same. But I think Java DB is an in-memory database. Okay, so when I say in-memory database to all the folks, it is something the database you created virtually in the memory itself. Once you shut down your system, your memory is gone. Everything is gone. But when you talk about your relational database or any kind of databases, you can still store the information down the line. After 1 year also, you can come back and access it. Okay, so there's a difference between your in-memory and your relational database. Okay, and folks, I would request you guys, please give some feedbacks. okay, fill in this feedback form. Okay, one request. And the other concern, we will be starting the advanced Java courses, so we'll be talking about the JSPs, servlets, and we are going to move on from here. Okay, and we are not going to start up tomorrow because I want to do a fresh startup. So this is a long weekend, so we will see everyone on Tuesday itself. I hope everybody will be having their own outing and some kind of plans for this long weekend. So have a nice long weekend, and we'll meet on Tuesday. Okay.
Jairam, before
Yeah, go ahead.
just one question: is there any books you can recommend us for advanced Java that would cover Hibernate and GSP and servlets? And
For servlets and JSP, you can use your head first. Okay, so head first has got all, it has got its own core Java, it has got its own JSPs, servlets. Okay, so you just go with that. They have clearly and very beautifully explained everything. Okay, so from my session you can basically get the sense of it, and if you want to really understand a lot of other things, you can just go and use that. Okay, head first had got its own core Java, it has its own advanced Java, and for Hibernate, you can use your Hibernate in action. Okay, Hibernate in action, and yeah, you can use these things. What will be the next topic? So next topic is going to be the servlet.
Jera,
Yeah.
one quick question. Ours is a product that we're converting into Java stuff. Like we support two databases,
Okay.
SQL Server and Oracle.
Mhm.
For Oracle, for SQL Server, we're planning to use JTDS.
Mhm.
I have no clue, but is it a good one for a SQL Server, or do you recommend something else?
JTDS for what?
For SQL Server?
No, first let me just find out what is JTDS you're talking about.
JTDS is a SourceForge a free available driver for SQL
Okay,
Server.
okay. So this is a driver, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So no, see, driver again, it all depends what driver your MySQL server is giving you. So if they're recommending this one, you can very well use it. See, using drivers will not make any difference out here. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So there'll be only one specific driver. There won't be multiple drivers of the same kind. Okay. So again, the drivers are all I think JTDS is an open source 100% pure Java type 4 driver. Okay, it's a JDBC 3.0 drivers for my. See, this is your for MySQL server in specific. Okay.
Right.
So I mean, there is no other option. You have to use this itself, right?
Right.
So from your Java application, I see. As I have not used the MySQL server, okay. I have
This is
not used.
Microsoft SQL Server.
Right. So yeah, it's a Microsoft SQL server. For that reason, you need to use your JTDS. So there is no other go. For MySQL, for Oracle, I need to use my JDBC. Right. For MySQL servers, I need to use MySQL jar files. For Microsoft SQL server, you're supposed to use this. There is no other go. You're bound to use this. Okay.
I see.
Did that answer your question, Madhu?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what do we need to install for servlets? Please email us all the details. I'll tell you all this information in that particular class, Rashmi. So, but again, just to give you a heads up, we are supposed to install Tomcat server for this. Okay. Any questions, folks? If there are no questions, have a nice weekend. And
Jaram, I hope I didn't miss it. The next class is on Tuesday. No class tomorrow.
No class tomorrow, so it's on Tuesday again.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Because I don't want to get scoldings from you guys to have class on tomorrow and again on Monday. All right. Okay, guys. Have a nice weekend and have a long weekend as well. Bye-bye.
H2K Infosys provides world-class online IT training, staffing, and software testing solutions to customers worldwide. H2K Infosys, how we are different from our competitors. 100% job-oriented training, hands-on project work, cloud test lab, resume preparation and review, mock interviews, robust syllabus, one-time fee and lifetime access to classes, access to recorded sessions of live classes. H2K Infosys has won the trust of thousands of students worldwide. For a free demo class, visit us at h2kinfosys.com.